Hello and welcome to one of your exclusive Coastal News Podcast anniversary special episodes. Sophie and I want to take a quick moment just to thank you all for your support and for listening to us this past 12 months and of course being part of our podcast family. We couldn't do it without you. We hope you continue to enjoy this as much as we do. So welcome to In Conversation with Sophie, one of the co-hosts, along with myself, of the main podcast. And this is day one of the anniversary, our first anniversary of Coastal News, a Home and Away podcast. So this is a chance for us to speak a little bit about Sophie and her home and away journey. Are you ready, Sophie?
I think so, yeah. I'm excited and also nervous.
Only because everything has been sprung on you last second. So, by the way, happy birthday.
Happy
birthday. Happy
yes.
Anniversary.
Yeah.
We've made it 12 months, gone in no time.
Yeah. Wow.
So, tell us, because we don't often get a chance to talk about this on the main podcast because there's so much going on storyline wise, and obviously we're an episode recap podcast, so we get right down to all that stuff. Tell us a little bit about your home and away story. When did you come across Home and Away? What's your earliest memory of watching it? That kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, this is quite easy for me, really, because I'm actually older than Home and Away, which is tragic. I was around before Home and Away was, and it was actually my mum that got into watching Home and Away. So she watched Home and Away and Neighbours back in the day, back in the 80s. So she watched it from the beginning, and I guess by osmosis, I did as well. I was only a toddler when it first started, so I used to watch it with her, I guess. But I guess when the first time I really remember watching it was the storyline with Bobby. When Bobby died. So I actually don't know what year that was. I should have looked it up.
Speedboat.
The
I bet you're
speedboat.
talking 93, 92. She was only in a couple of years, weren't she? Even though she's such an iconic.
She was in it from the beginning. So Bobby was in it from the very first episode. Do you know much about Bobby's story?
Yeah. Watched them all.
She was like a little tearaway from the first series, and what we thought would happen was she'd broken into Fisher's house. For some reason, Donald Fisher, who was like the principal of the school back then, he got it in his head that she was a bad kid. Her parents had died, and she'd ended up in the bay, and she was a bit of a tearaway, but he got it in for her. We didn't really know why. And he thought that she'd robbed his house. So that's when like Bobby was like first introduced, and then the story progresses. I mean, we're talking quite a long time later. We actually find out later on that Bobby is Donald Fisher's daughter.
Yeah, that's right.
And Donald Fisher's had a relation. Well, I don't know if it's a relationship or a one night stand actually, but with Morag of all people. So Morag is Bobby's mum, and Donald is Bobby's dad. But Morag had the baby but gave her away. So basically Bobby was adopted by a family, and then that her mum died. I think her adopted mum died, and then she went off the rails and ended up in the bay and all that sort of stuff. So Bobby was one of those characters when I was little that I remember, and I really liked her, I guess because she was a bit of a little madam, I guess.
Yeah, she was a bit different. She wasn't, poster girl, was she?
Yeah.
She was a bit alternative in her appearance, in her dress.
Yeah.
And of course the big Bobby Frank.
Yes.
Relationship. Were they the first wedding on Home and Away?
Ooh, they could have been. Yeah.
That could be quite a comment, but.
Yeah, and obviously she fell out with Rue because although Bobby because Frank was actually her foster brother, so Bobby got fostered by Pippa and Tom, and Frank was also one of the foster kids that Pippa and Tom had. So it was like this weird kind of. They weren't obviously biologically related at all, but they were being brought up in the same family, so it was a bit weird that they were getting married. And then Frank and Rue always had this "will they, won't they" thing going on. So because of that, Bobby and Rue fell out, and actually Rue ended up marrying Frank later on.
True.
So there was that whole dynamic. But I think she must have died. Let's think how old. I reckon I was about 12 when she died. So I reckon it was about 95, 96.
Really? I thought it was a bit earlier than that.
No, I'm sure it was like mid-90s because that's when I know I've watched it before then, but that's the memory that I remember the most
Yeah.
from watching it back then because I think it was so shocking the way that she died. Do you kind of
Mm.
it kind of scared. I had a bit of a thing about the sea anyway because I'd watched Jaws. my parents my parents didn't care what I watched on television. I'd watched Jaws as a child. I was absolutely terrified of the sea after that. And then Bobby died because she flew off the back of a speedboat. And then I was just more terrified of the sea after that and boats. And I've never been on a boat because of that. It's always kind of freaked me out. So I'd say, although it's the most traumatic memory I had, I think it's the first one that I really remember as well.
From Home and Away. So way,
Yeah.
way back.
Yeah.
And it's good. And I was telling you, wasn't I? You can watch the first couple of years of Home and Away right from day
Yes,
dot
I
on
need to do
Amazon
that.
Prime.
I need to
So
do
if
that.
anyone's
Yeah.
listening, go do that because it is a proper flashback.
Yeah.
And it's good for those that came to the show later to go back and work out sort of how it came to be,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and what it was like. Thank you for sharing that. So, next question, your best classic story. Now, this can be storyline, it can be couple, and you know what I mean when I say by classic, Home
Yeah.
and Away, don't you? Yeah.
I'm just trying to
Off
think.
the top of your head, what sticks out to you from those glory 90s Home and Away days?
I suppose what sticks out for me was like the whole because without the Fletcher family, there wouldn't be a Home and Away. With I suppose that that dynamic, that family dynamic of Tom and Pippa. Well, I guess for a lot of the time it was just Pippa because Tom unfortunately died, didn't he, in that accident? So Pippa and Sally, and as we just mentioned, Frank and Carly and Stephen, and there was another girl that I can't remember the name of. It's gone out of my brain, but they had like 5 or 6 foster kids, didn't they?
Yeah.
And it was the story of them and watching them grow up, I guess. And for me, it was like Sally was like a few years older than me, so as a kid I just kind of warmed to Sally the most out of all of them, I think, because I was like, well, she's a little bit older than me, she's a little bit like me, like personality wise and stuff, so I kind of felt drawn to her. So watching Sally grow up and get married and get married to Flynn, I guess that was probably like, I guess one of my, I don't know, defining classic moments was like
Yeah.
Sally's kind of becoming a woman, becoming a teacher, like being a teacher at the school that she went to school at and all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Do you remember Sally losing her virginity to Heath Ledger?
I do,
Back of a
yes.
car or something.
So
Yeah.
lucky.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what a classic character, to remember classic Home and Away by. So I'm not surprised at all. Similar age, relatable.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
surprised you've said that.
yeah. And that whole, I don't, it wasn't classic Home and Away because to me this is much later. But that whole storyline with Miles as well was fascinating. Because she had this imaginary friend when she was a kid called Milko, and it kind of came out of the trauma that she had as a child because she'd got no family. That's why she ended up living with the Fletchers, because she got no mum and dad, and she had this imaginary friend that kind of helped her through that horrible start in life, I guess, because she was really young when she went and moved in with them. And then it
Yeah.
turns out that Milko wasn't a fictional character at all. It was like her brother Miles, and that's what she called him. And that was just another dimension, I guess, to Sally's character.
I remember reading that. I don't know about you because yeah, you're right. You've jumped forward a lot of years here down the line,
Yeah,
but it's still part of the whole journey and the whole story, I guess.
yeah.
Um, but I remember reading that was that Milko wasn't was real at the time, thinking this is nuts.
It was,
Like
yeah.
are they really gonna do that? When you read like
Yeah,
the soap magazine and you're like, Miles is real, you're like, what?
yeah.
And I remember, because I'm sure the sort of season ends and beginnings were a little bit less obvious for us back then,
Yeah,
but because we were so far behind. But do you remember there was a promo which would have, I imagine, have been the end of season whatever,
yeah.
um and it was all about Miles, Milko coming back. Milko's real. I
Yeah.
remember thinking they did it really well.
I think he
Like
wrote something on the beach, didn't he? Didn't he write something? Did he write his name on the beach or something with a
did you
stick?
see it in the stand? Yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, he wrote Milko,
Yeah,
and
I can
only she
remember
would
that.
know that. Yeah,
Yeah.
but like that to me, you just think something's going to be so ridiculous that it's
Yeah.
just going to be so daft, but
Yeah.
actually it turned out really well, and it helped that Miles was actually a really really likable character. But
He was. I really like Miles. That isn't classic, like you say, Home and Away, because that to me is like that's quite modern for me. It probably was like 2010 or
still,
something, but it feels quite modern.
mm,
But that whole, I don't know, that whole thing when she was a teenager, because she was just a little bit older than me, and watching her go to school and the kind of people that she hung around with, like she hung around with Leah and Vinny and, like you say, Heath Ledger. I think his name was Scott, wasn't it?
Scott, yeah, with his wavy hair.
I think so. I think it was Scott. And then she was also friends with someone who never gets mentioned on the show, Irene's son, Damien, and she had a bit of a crush on Damien as
Oh
well.
yeah,
So
Damien.
that whole, she was in it for so long. I guess when she left, it was a bit like, this is an end of an era for me.
Yeah, and her exit was so drawn out.
Yeah.
Um, oh, love it. So speaking of 2010, then,
Yeah.
what's your best post 2010 moment? Well, let's call that modern Homer's
Gosh,
era.
that's a
Um,
lot of time.
when the show's a bit more glossy nowadays, isn't it, and a bit
Yeah.
less, you know,
Yeah.
what's your best moment from that era, off
I
the
don't
top
know.
of your head?
I don't know whether it's my best moment because I think if I had some time to think about it, I'd probably come out with something else. But just off the top of my head, I guess when the show started to change for me, and I loved the way that it went in a different direction. And you've told me that loads of people didn't like it, but I absolutely thought it was brilliant. But the whole Riverboy saga and the whole, Daryl going out with Charlie, cop and bad boy, that whole era for me, it
This
really
is
did.
for my brother. Boom, boom.
I literally lapped all of that. I love a bad boy. I love a bad boy from the wrong side of town. I just love all of that stuff. I'm just proper. I'm a bit of a girl about all of it, really.
All the
But yeah,
danger. So, you think the
yeah. The
Braxton
arrival of the
arrival?
Braxtons, yeah, and it was. I guess it was a different sort of side of Home and Away. Up and like you say, before that, it was broken homes, families. There was a lot of dark stuff as well in Home Away before that, but this was like the first kind of gang
Yeah.
tattoos, and I loved it.
And we all did when it first happened because it really
Yeah,
shook everything up,
yeah,
and everything got very dangerous.
yeah.
And we'd never had bad boys that didn't know how to wear clothes before, you know, tattoos and
Tattoos and
um
oh yeah, I loved it.
somebody told
Yeah.
me that they were based on a real gang, like they were based on like this really infamous gang that over there.
Really?
Um yeah, like they based them on this real gang, that sort of runs
Yeah.
in that area, that sort of they basically run the towns,
Oh, wow.
Somebody told me that, yeah. I can't remember now the name of the gang, but I'm sure someone out there will know.
Have they got
Um,
blood and sand tattoos?
yeah, like it's literally like that, like
Oh man.
proper, pledge allegiance and everything. And so we all loved it, but I think, and I'm putting you in that category more so than me. You were watching this before I was. Um, they sort of took over, like every
Yeah.
single storyline. Brax
Yeah.
was the hero.
Yeah.
Every single, so I think they wore thin a bit, but it's undeniable the mark they had on the show. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not surprised again that is your moment.
Yeah, that's like one of those defining. Okay, this is a new era of Home and Away now,
Yeah,
because you have that every so often where some storyline comes in. The other weird kind of storyline with Home and Away that made me sort of sit up and go, "What?" was the whole people trafficking storyline, because that was really dark for Home and Away. That was really shocking. So
yeah,
it's the really shocking sort of storylines where it doesn't feel like Home and Away anymore, but I still love it.
yeah.
it doesn't ruin it for me. It just makes me go, what? Really? We're going here? Like, okay.
Yeah. And they don't shy away from doing it. Home and away is, we talk about in the UK, we talk about home and away neighbours, we just bundle them together. And neighbours has always been sort of fluffy and light, and it's sunshine in an afternoon. Home and away's always been dark, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And I think they moved with the times. Like the darkness from 1998 would be dull and crap in 2018. So
absolutely.
They definitely understood, like, the audience wants this now. Time is right.
Yeah, because I find this quite confusing. When some people online, they say like, oh, I don't like where this storyline going. It doesn't feel very home and away. It feels a bit dark. But I remember Home and Away. I remember being at school actually, and some of the kids at school weren't allowed to watch it, and I was. So I was like, I'd go in and tell them what happened because I'm like, I know your mum doesn't let you watch it, so I'll tell you. But there was quite a few like drug storylines. There's always been drug storylines in Home and Away, and we've had some recently, haven't we? So there's always been drugs and death and gangs, and there's always been some.
Yeah, it's always been dark. When you compare it to Neighbours,
yeah,
it's always been way more dangerous and way more.
We had a
darker.
cult. We had that whole cult with
had a few
Saul.
cults.
Yeah, well, we had the original cult was Saul, I think, and he absolutely terrified me. And it absolutely scared the life out of me. And I absolutely loved the object of his affection, I guess, Selena, when she was in it as well, because he was basically stalking her and trying to convince her to join the cult and got her pregnant and all that sort of stuff. So that was a really scary storyline. But we've always had, I think Home and Away's always had that propensity, is that the word? For darkness, and
100%.
And I've always gone with it, even though it does feel a bit OTT because it is a tiny little coastal town, and all of this stuff happening there does feel a little bit like, really, it's not like Sydney or Melbourne or where you'd expect something. It's tiny, but I've always lapped it up. I've always loved the dark drama, that kind of stuff.
Absolutely, escapism, and we've embraced it, and they've embraced it.
Yeah. If it was happening every week, I'd be like, okay, come on. But they do it so infrequently that it's just like, okay, we're going here.
What about your highlight of the podcast so far this year? What's your highlight of the podcast? So you joined the podcast
in
January.
End of January, I think.
Yeah. So I've enjoyed it. What's been your highlight thus far?
I've loved it. It's honestly the highlight of my entire week, and I literally count down. It's got to the point now where I can't wait until Friday, and I feel really bad, but I'm constantly like tweeting and texting you and going, oh my god, what about this? Because I can't hold it in till Friday because I just can't wait to talk to you. So I'm sorry about that. You started.
Don't apologise. It's mutual.
You wanted a guest for a week, and I've become like I've infiltrated your whole life now. So.
No, listen. I wouldn't have any other way now. It's like everything before doesn't matter. Like.
I guess that is my favourite bit, the fact that we've got to know you, and I think we have such a laugh, and we do this because we genuinely enjoy it. It's not, if nobody listens, fair enough. If they think we're annoying or whatever, fair enough. But I think we'd still do it because we just enjoy talking about Home and Away, and I don't have anybody IRL, I guess, to talk about this stuff with. So yeah, that's why you get the brunt of all my messages.
Oh, I love it because I'm the same. You're my outlet now.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's no one particular moment. It's just being involved in its entirety.
Yeah. I think that the moments that stick out on the podcast where we've been together has probably been where we're laughing, because we do that a lot, don't we? Really, whether it's on the podcast or before we start it or afterwards, we're always having a laugh, and I think that's like my best bit of this whole thing is having someone to share all the the information with and share opinions. And I like it when we don't always have the same opinion as well, like the whole Martha thing where you said I'm pretty sure she's going to end up with a kidney, and I was like ready to pick out her coffin and all that sort of stuff. It's nice to hear someone else's view on or change your mind about something. It's nice to have that
Yeah.
as well, and not
It's
just
really,
yeah.
it's really uplifting, isn't it, when you can just fall to pieces, creased up.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, and just, and it's about something that you're passionate about as well as somebody else.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure we've
There you go.
offended half of New Zealand with some of our episodes. But they've been
We're sorry.
we're literally like, this isn't scripted. We're just talking as we go, and sometimes what we say, it doesn't come out how we mean it, and we just fall apart laughing because we're like, oh, I can't believe I said that. And hopefully it comes across as genuine and not as like we're horrible people. But I just think, it's just nice to have somebody that, I don't know, likes something as much as you, because that's what everyone's looking for, that, aren't they? When you've got something that you're really into, and then when you tell someone about it who's not really that interested, it's like, oh, okay, I'm boring you. But with you, I know I'm not boring you, because you feel the same as I do.
Yeah, I remember thinking, oh, I've met it, it's me. Yeah, it's like meeting yourself.
Yeah. It's freaky.
So that takes us nicely into the section we're calling My Five. Ooh, because we're clever, and like you can also watch Home and Away on My Five. So tell me your 5 wishes for the year ahead.
Oh gosh, what do I wish? Gosh, I don't know.
And it can be podcast wish. It can be I wish for a character on the show. It can be anything.
Oh God, that's like huge. Sorry, that's a huge realm of stuff I could wish for. Okay, podcast wise, or just to continue doing them and continue enjoying them. I guess it'd be cool if we got to actually meet IRL at some point. Maybe we could record one live. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
So that, just
that's 2.
That's 2. That's 2. Storylines. Let's think. I don't know, because it could. I think
I'll come
whatever I
visit you
come
in
up
your
with.
haunted house.
Yeah, you should come and visit my.
I'll come visit you. I'll bring the podcast mic and the Ouija board.
Yeah. Oh, you don't know who will conjure up. We could conjure up someone from the past. Saul could come back. God. You never know.
As long as it's not Chloe's dad.
Oh God! Oh no, not Matthew. Oh, there's no one shoes. No thanks. No, I'd have to hit him again with a bloody book or a brick or something. Oh dear. Yeah, no, I wouldn't want that one. I'm just trying to think what storylines I'd like, because I don't think I've come up with anything more exciting than what the writers are going to come up with. So I'm kind of excited to see where they're going to go with stuff. I want to see more of the fallout of the casino stuff. I want to see more I don't want Tani and Flick to split up. I want to see that carry on. That's a wish, I guess.
Yeah. And one more.
I can't think of anything. I don't want Alf to die in real life or in the show.
Oh.
Because 2022 has been a sucky year.
Shite enough.
It's only May, and I've already lost a lot of people this year, so I cannot handle losing Alf or Ray. That would just, no. So that's my eternal wish, that Ray is immortal. Please.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Those are your 5. You're my 5.
Yes.
You're my 5. My 5.
My 5.
Sophie, this is your life.
Oh God.
Oh dear.
It actually is.
For the younger audience who won't even know what that is, I've got a very big red book.
Was there anything in that book? That's what I'd like to know. That's another one of my wishes. What's in the book? Oh dear.
I don't know, but I'll tell you what's in the wings. All family members and friends you thought you'd never have to speak to again.
Here's your uncle that you didn't like.
Uncle Nabed.
Had a fight at your wedding, caused a scene. All the way from Australia. Oh no, that was the worst.
Oh dear. Right, let's play Tenable.
Oh gosh, right, okay. I'm scared. I'm going to do really badly and show myself up now. I think I am, aren't I?
No. You know your stuff. Right, let's do it.
Oh, I'm scared. Okay.
So, here's the question. Are you ready? By the way, do not do this bad to me next week. Yeah.
Worse.
According to newlove.com.au, checked on the 25th of May at 4:23 p.m.
Oh my
Correct
gosh.
at that time.
Oh my gosh. This is scary.
Name the top 10 best families from home and away.
Oh my word. Oh gosh, that's hard. Okay. I'm going to give you my top 10.
Well,
they're the same.
You've got, so on this version of Tenable, you've got 3 lives. So I'll let you know how many you get.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go with the Fletchers because they are home and away. And if they're not on the list, I'm not playing anymore.
Okay, let's have a look. Drum roll. The Fletchers are in at number 2.
Woohoo!
You've got that right. So they are the second best, most popular.
Best.
Yeah, most popular family in home and away, according to newlove.com.au.
So I'm wondering whether the first lot will be somebody classic or somebody brand new then, one of the modern families. That's interesting. Okay, Stuarts.
She's pulling out the big guns first off. She's getting these done.
These are my favourite families.
Yes, they're 3.
Ooh,
they're number 3.
Oh, who's the elusive number 1? Okay. Okay, I'm gonna punt.
I'm gonna give you a clue.
Okay.
There are some interesting ones on here.
Oh,
that
you mean
I put, if I was thinking, I mean, mind you, 10 families I probably struggle with, but I was looking at this list thinking, really? Anyway, go on.
Oh gosh, now you've made me think. Okay.
That's a clue.
I'm gonna punt, and this might be one of my lives, so I'm gonna punt with the Braxtons because I think they're super popular.
Okay, so Braxtons, according to newlove.com.au on the 25th of May, 4:23 p.m. Number 1.
Yes! I was wondering, I was thinking I was either going to be classic or it was going to be modern.
Let's just recap. You've got the top 3. The Braxtons, the Fletchers, and the Stuarts, and you've still got all your lives.
Oh gosh, I might win Tenable. I'm so excited. Okay.
All your win is bragging rights, but okay.
That's fine. That's fine. I play this at home. I play the game show on TV at home, and I never win. I never win. It's always like sport or South American countries. I don't know anything about that. Okay. Think. I don't know whether to go classic again because Irene hasn't had a family in the Bay for a long time. But when she did, I loved her family, like Damien and Finlay.
Okay.
I don't know whether to go for the Roberts or not. Oh, I'm going to go Roberts. Roberts family.
Drum roll.
My heart's pounding.
No, you've lost a life. The Roberts are not in the top 10.
Okay. Let's think. What about the Hunters? Matilda and Robbie and Beth
and, yeah.
And the other one. Scott.
That your final answer? You're locking that in?
I don't think they're on there, but that's who's come to my brain. Yeah.
Okay, let's do this. Number 6, the Hunters.
Yes! Woohoo! Phew, it's making me sweat then. Okay.
So the
Okay.
Hunters are in at number 6.
Okay. And they're not classic home and away. Then well, not what I call classic home and away. They are a long time ago, but I would class them as modern. Okay, that's interesting. I'm gonna go. Oh, okay. Let's go Morgan family, because they're modern, aren't they?
The Morgans, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes, number 10. They've
Yes.
just
Just
got in there.
scraped it. Oh God, this is scary.
I mean, they've scraped in.
How many have I got?
No, 10th best family ever on home and away. Not sure.
Mm.
So far, you've got 5 out of 10. You've got 5 to find, and you've still got 2 lives remaining.
That's not bad. I thought I would be out by now. Okay, who else is left? Gosh. Okay. Who else? Oh, Ziggy's family. Ziggy's a Stony. Maggie and Ben. I love
Estonia,
them.
yeah.
Are they on there?
Let's find out. No, you've lost a life.
No, Estonia Hunters are on there, but not the Estonies. Wow, who put this list together?
I told you, newlove.com.au.
Oh, I'm a bit annoyed.
So let's just recap now. This is serious now, Sophie.
Oh,
You've got 1 life left.
I know, I'm scared.
You need to get this next one right to stay in the game. So far, you've not found the 9th, 8th, 7th, 5th, or 4th.
Oh no! See, now I'm thinking about families that are in the bay right now.
Think Tenable. Hunters are in at number 6. Somebody who is more popular than the Hunters, but less popular than the Stuarts.
Oh gosh!
According to newlove.com.au.
I was going to say, I don't know whether I trust these people, because no Estonies and no Roberts. I'm not having it.
I told you, I read it and I thought, ooh.
See, I'm really worried that it's going to be the Paratas, and I don't think I'd put them in the top 10, even though I'm in love with Tane. I don't know whether to go Paratas because I don't want to lose my life. I don't know.
Are you doing it?
Can I tell you who I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of the Holdens, because I loved Jack and what was Jack's wife called? Martha.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of the Holdens.
Would you put Martha in with the Stuarts though?
Oh yeah, probably. And then there's the Palmer Austins.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be them, because Gina and John, the Palmers. Oh, I don't know. I'm all conflicted. And then the Pattersons, the Patterson Morgans. Oh God.
I'm gonna have to push for an answer, Soph.
Oh, I don't know who to go for. Okay, I'm gonna go for the Paratas, because I'm hoping that the newbies have voted. The new viewers.
So Paratas, yeah?
Yeah.
No. You've lost your life.
Oh no.
No.
Did I say any that were right?
Yeah, you got 5 right.
No, I meant like with my deliberations, because I was thinking.
Let's have a look. Let's go through the top 10 families.
The Nashes.
In at number 10, the Morgans. You got that one.
Yeah.
Number 9, the Pattersons.
Oh, I said the Pattersons. I thought they were too old school because Vinny died ages ago.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, they're the 10th most popular. They would not even be anywhere near my consciousness.
I absolutely adored Vinny back in the day, but I thought that was too long ago.
Yeah, same. Number 8, the Nashes.
Oh, the Nashes! I just said the Nashes.
And you went with the blooming Paratas. Next one, you're gonna kick yourself.
Oh no.
Sutherland's.
Oh,
Number
the
7.
Sutherlands. Oh my god. Why did I forget
I
about
thought that
them?
might have been your next one.
Oh, I completely forgot all about them.
Yeah.
Kane
So
and
in
all
its sixth,
that. Oh.
yeah, Danny. In its sixth, the Hunters. You got that one.
Yeah.
I was surprised they were there. Number 5, the
Yeah.
Fishers.
Oh, really? I didn't like the Fishers. I liked Bobby, but I didn't like Donald and Rebecca.
Now this one's a bit perplexing. Number 4,
Mm.
the Walkers.
The Walkers?
Yeah.
Really?
Sid and Indian.
They were here for like a hot minute.
Apparently. And then obviously the
Yeah.
top 3 you got right away. The Stewarts, the Fletchers,
Yes.
and Reign Supreme Braxtons.
Yeah, they're my faves, I think. So that makes sense. I don't agree with this survey.
I'm sorry, you're going to have to take it up with Warwick Davis.
I will. Coming for you, Warwick. Coming for you.
Our first anniversary giveaway is underway on Twitter now. You can win exclusive merch and free Spotify Premium. Head to Coastal News Pod on Twitter now for details on how you can enter. You never know, you might just win. Happy anniversary.